A current WWE superstar was spotted at AEW Dynamite last night, and MJF has just set all Elite Wrestling on fire. But first, a major New Japan star has made their AEW debut. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite would air live from the Forum in Los Angeles, California, and opened with a 6-man tag match. It would see the new AEW World Champion CM Punk team with the ROH World Tag Team Champions FTR to take on Max Caster and the Gun Club. Of course, Punk and FTR would leave as the victors, however, they would end with a promo addressing the upcoming Forbidden Door event, AEW's joint show with New Japan Pro-Wrestling. Punk would then say that he's heard New Japan are in the house and called for whoever his opponent is to come out. The music of Hiroshi Tanahashi would then hit before the Ace made his way to the ramp to confront his opponent for the upcoming pay-per-view. It's currently unknown if the match will be for the AEW World title, though I'd say this is pretty likely at this point. Forbidden Door goes down later this month for June 26th, and we now know the first official match on the card. And speaking of the Forbidden Door, a planned title match has been leaked. Following last night's show, Dave Meltzer would speak on the Wrestling Observer Radio, where he discussed the event and revealed that he's seen the potential lineup for the show. He would reveal that there is a match booked for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, with a popular AEW wrestler set to challenge for the belt, and Dave would say, "The IWGP title match won't be able to be announced until the Dynamite show on the 15th in St. Louis, 11 days before the Forbidden Door show. I had seen a lineup which was interesting because it was Punk and Tanahashi for the AEW World title, and the other match was Kazuchika Okada and Adam Page, which actually could be a hell of a match for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. We don't know if that will happen, change, or whatever." Meltzer would then add that the rest of the card will likely be a lot of tag matches between factions on each side, although no more specifics were given. Hangman is of course coming off the back of his run as AEW World Champion, having lost on Sunday night to CM Punk in the main event of Double or Nothing. But do you think Hangman can win the IWGP World Heavyweight title? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, a former AEW World Champion is set to put his hair on the line. Elsewhere on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, Chris Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society would address the crowd following their win at Double or Nothing this past weekend. At the pay-per-view, they would come out on top in the first ever Anarchy in the Arena match, where they defeated Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. Jericho and crew would then be confronted by Kingston, who walked out onto the stage with William Regal, with Kingston then asking for another match with the Jericho Appreciation Society before Regal switched out his famous NXT catchphrase War Games for Blood and Guts, AEW's own version of the classic NWA matchup. Jericho would then call for his society to get Kingston, with them leaving him in the ring on his own before Ortiz snuck up behind and cut out a chunk of Le Champion's long hair. This would anger Jericho, who then challenged Ortiz to a hair versus hair match, and if Ortiz wins, then they can have the Blood and Guts match. The hair versus hair match has been confirmed to be taking place on June 15th at the Road Rager special edition of Dynamite from St. Louis, Missouri, whilst Blood and Guts will go down on June 29th on AEW Dynamite live from Detroit, Michigan. But who do you think will enter Blood and Guts bold? Will it be Chris Jericho or Ortiz? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, a current WWE superstar was spotted backstage at AEW Dynamite last night. During the Los Angeles show, former WWE World Champion Dolph Ziggler was present, this according to Fightful Select. He is said to have been visiting friends as well as his brother Ryan Nemeth, who wrestled on the Dark Elevation tapings prior to Dynamite going live. The report also notes that former WWE talents Renee Paquette and CJ Perry, the former Lana, were also at the show to accompany their husbands. Renee is of course the wife of Jon Moxley, whilst Lana was in town for her husband Miro's return to AEW television. Miro would show up as Johnny Elite's mystery opponent, scoring a win in just 6 minutes in his first match since November's Full Gear pay-per-view. It's possible that there's at least one guy who wasn't happy about the presence of yet more WWE names at AEW shows, as we'll get to next. And oh my god, MJF has just set all Elite Wrestling on fire. In case you've been living under a rock, MJF would appear on last night's AEW Dynamite, where he aired his grievances with AEW management, more specifically AEW President Tony Khan. Over past weeks, a number of reports have surfaced that suggest that MJF was unhappy with his contract situation, with this said to be legitimate. On top of this, he would no-show a meet and greet on Saturday before booking a flight out of Las Vegas before his match with Wardlow at Double or Nothing, although he would be talked into making the show. It has widely been reported by multiple sources that all of this is real-life heat. Well, MJF would take the rumors and reports and turn it into a shoot promo last night, where he made his feelings more than clear, blurring the lines between reality and fiction in a masterful way. The show would see officials from Warner Discovery, the parent company of TBS, in the building, following the big Warner Media and Discovery merger between the two companies. With executives in town, this was seen as a big night for AEW to show the new management what they could offer them, and MJF said that it would be a shame if something bad happened. And then he said this time it's not MJF talking, it's Max Friedman. He would go on to address Tony Khan directly and discussed how he's been trying to sit down with MJF and talk with him for quite some time to talk about a new contract. This has been reported in the news recently, with AEW wanting to extend MJF's contract whilst MJF doesn't want to extend it but wants more money. His current deal ends on January 1st, 2024. He'd point out that he's the second biggest drawing wrestler in the promotion based on ratings, yet he still doesn't get the respect that he deserves, and that the ex-WWE guys can have his spot because he doesn't want to be here anymore. MJF would then call out Khan for being a mark whose position in wrestling should be behind the guardrail with the rest of the fans, before calling him out for the recent signings of ex-WWE guys that can't even lace his boots. He'd then explicitly tell Khan to fire him while screaming into the camera, calling him a quote, mark before the audio was cut. The promo was reminiscent of CM Punk's pipe bomb in 2011, only this time it had more fire and fury. It had the intensity of Ric Flair laced in when he would reach the high points, with this being arguably the best promo in recent memory, something that has been said time and again with segments involving MJF. The same was said about his war of words with CM Punk, as well as his babyface promo where he explained his backstory as a kid growing up idolizing Punk. It's worth remembering that all three of these promos were all this year, making 2022 a real breakout year for the man that's better than you. In my opinion, this is exactly what AEW needed. Whilst their current product does wonders in pleasing their current fan base, including myself, they have long needed something that reaches outside of that to bring in new viewers. The fact that this is somewhat of an anti-AEW promo only helps them, with the people that don't like the product now having a reason to tune in, with them having something or someone to get behind. The promo appeals to both AEW fans and the wider wrestling audience all in one swipe, and could be the catalyst for taking AEW to the next level. There were some uncomfortable truths told for Tony Khan, some of which even turned the AEW crowd on his side, especially the ex-WWE stuff, mixed in with some legitimate claims that he is indeed the best in the world right now and deserves top-level money, as well as being a ratings draw, which is hard to argue at this point. Whether the angle will provide an increase in average viewership remains to be seen, but AEW have caught lightning in a bottle, and now it's time to capitalize. The MJF angle, combined with the momentum behind Wardlow, as well as CM Punk leading the line as AEW World Champion, means that this could be far more than a summer of Punk. I can't give the promo enough props, with the best wrestling storylines being the ones where you can't really tell which part is a shoot or a work. Obviously, the in-ring action is planned, but when it comes to segments, if you're left wondering if what you just heard is legit without going outside of the scope of kayfabe, then that's job done, in my opinion. We all know wrestling is predetermined, but this felt raw, it felt real, and I loved it. Now all AEW need to do is make sure this guy is signed to a longer contract as soon as possible, strap the rocket to him, and have him end CM Punk's AEW World Championship reign at All Out in September. Whilst AEW do love long world title reigns, which I get, I feel like they need to add a short one in there to add an element element of unpredictability to future runs with the belt. Right now, if somebody wins the title, you know they're holding it for at least 6 months, meaning you know the results of the defenses for quite a while. With CM Punk being an ex-WWE guy who is paid exponentially more than MJF, with signs that portions of the fan base don't want to see him as champion, he seems to be the perfect target for MJF to chase as Tony Khan's chosen champion. I'm not suggesting that Tony Khan become an on-screen character or a manager or anything, that isn't necessary, but everybody knows that Tony Khan is a huge CM Punk mark, and Punk is literally his chosen one. On top of this, after the promo and during the commercial break, CM Punk would walk out to the ring to chase off MJF, a clear hint that this is where they are heading. Whether it be at All Out or later down the line, MJF must be the next AEW champion to end Khan's, and quite honestly my CM Punk AEW fantasy to pass the torch to the next generation. But let me know your thoughts on the promo as well as my ideas for how they should move forward in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out the 12 most obscure WWE appearances from AEW wrestlers.